Pastor Roy Gearhart from Galloway United Methodist Church in Franklin, Pennsylvania, sharing a few words of encouragement to help us follow after Jesus. We've been looking at David and Goliath, and today I want to focus on some of the other people involved in this story, because David and Goliath are not the only ones that we meet. There's the whole army of the Philistines, as well as the army of Israel. And we focus also on King Saul and David's brothers. When David came and brought supplies to his brothers, he heard the challenge of Goliath. Goliath had been coming out for 40 days, mocking and deriding the army of Israel, challenging them to send out one champion to fight him. He said, if he can beat me, then we'll surrender to you. But the entire army of Israel stood there day after day, shaking in their shoes. Every single one of them was afraid. They all knew that they could not go out there in their own strength and fight this giant, that they were too small, he was too big, too strong, he would crush them. And so not one of them had the courage to even try. Well, David arrived on the scene, and when he heard this challenge, he was stunned. He said, "What's going on here? We're the army of the living God. God is with us. This guy, he can be taken down. God will hand him over to us." Well, when David's brothers heard this, they thought that their little brother was just a bragging little brat. They thought he was too young and too dumb to know anything, and that this kid just needed to shut up and go back home. I mean, he was embarrassing them, and they were outraged at this kind of bragging and ridiculous idea. They all knew, we can't do this. Well, David had an edge. And it's not just self-confidence. David definitely shows confidence here. And we know how important that can be. I mean, heavens, we've seen athletes in the Olympic Games break under the stress of competing at such a high level, even with years of training and preparation and experience behind them. They can choke in that moment and never live up to their full potential. David has confidence, but it's more than self-confidence. He comes with a confidence in God. I mean, when King Saul heard that there was anyone in the army that was willing to go out and challenge Goliath, he was ready to meet them and listen to them. And he offered David his armor to go out and fight. And even when David said, "I can't use your armor," he was still willing to let David go out and fight Goliath on their behalf. Not just because he had confidence in this kid to take on a giant, but because David possessed a confidence in God. And he didn't believe in God just as an idea in his head that would give him peace and comfort and make him more courageous. No, you see, David believed in the living God. He said God is with us and can deliver us. He believed that God was a person who could fight with him and for him. And that gave him the edge. Think about your own life today. Are you facing giants? Do you have obstacles in your life? Challenges that you know that in your own strength and ability, you don't have what it takes to win. It's way bigger than you. And no amount of self-confidence will change that. But have you looked to God? I mean, really pursued God. Believing in God, not just as some idea in your head to give you peace and comfort and make you a bit more courageous. But do you believe in God as the living God, as the one who can come and fight with you and for you, who can actually win this battle? That's the edge David possessed, and it's the edge God gives us when we trust in him. May God bless you today, and as you share his good news, may God make you a blessing wherever he takes you.